Oh, it is that favorite time of the week for me where we take you beyond the final frontier. Welcome back. Now, I do love this segment because it blows our minds what's going on in the world of space exploration at the moment, and also how that is kind of translating into news on Earth. Of course, this week been dominated by the story of a Chinese satellite called Tiangong-1 that has stopped working and will be plummeting into Earth's atmosphere and down to ground at some point over Easter weekend, where we just don't know. Well, don't worry, it won't be going to hit any of us, but did you know that NASA is tracking more than, in fact, 500,000 pieces of space debris orbiting the Earth as we speak? How does it get there? What exactly is it? These are questions hopefully to be answered by our resident astrophysicist, Dr. Imogen Whittam. Doc, welcome back.
Hi.
So there you are, just flying through space, and bam, you get hit by space debris. There is a lot out there. It's actually quite scary, a little sobering. Over 500,000 objects being tracked by NASA alone. How does it get there? What are we talking about when we say space debris? It's not like Coke cans and things like that, you know?
So space debris is any man-made object in orbit around Earth that's no longer serving a useful purpose. So this is things like abandoned spacecraft, the jettisoned bits of rockets, and smaller bits of debris created when satellites explode, collide, or break up.
And this is not an actual picture, guys. This is just our artist rendition. But how does it stay there? Why doesn't it just drift out into space or fall down to Earth?
So space debris is affected by the Earth's gravitational field. So rather than just floating off into space, it's actually in orbit around the Earth.
Like the moon.
Exactly like the moon. And so that's actually why it causes such a problem when we're trying to do things like launch satellites, because any debris that we produce in space will stay in orbit around the Earth for years.
How fast is this debris moving? Obviously, if you're talking about tiny little pieces, maybe it's not that dangerous, but you know, there are bigger pieces of debris out there moving at what speed?
So space debris travels at up to 28,000 kilometers an hour. So that's more than 10 times the speed of a bullet.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that means even the tiniest pieces of debris can cause significant damage to a satellite. I mean, the windows of the International Space Station have been damaged by tiny flecks of paint that have fallen off other satellites.
So what does this mean moving forward? How do you even then launch something off planet with this kind of, these variables, you know, flying around the...
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging. So the larger pieces of space debris we can track, and so NASA maintains a database that accurately tracks the positions of all pieces of space debris larger than the size of about a tennis ball. And if any of them are predicted to collide with the International Space Station or any other NASA satellite, they're able to alter the path, yes, exactly, slightly to avoid a collision.
And then very quickly, where is our Tiangong-1 satellite going to land? Do we know, presumably, around about where it's going to land?
So we don't really know exactly. We'll get a better idea in the next day or so. It's forecast to crash into the atmosphere at some point over the weekend. But because it's not designed to survive re-entry, it'll burn up into many pieces. So no large pieces. You are 10 million times more likely to be hit by lightning in the next year than you are to be hit by a piece of this space station. So no need to panic.
Phew, so unless you're going off planet, you're pretty much safe from space debris today. Doctor, thank you so much for demystifying that. Pretty scary world out there, pretty scary off-world out there, but that was our trip into the final frontier.